answered. Thank you for submitting your answers to my survey, your top health questions. So we're going live every day and answering them because people have a lot of questions right about now. These are amazing questions. So this is our second day. Meredith, how are you, girl? So good to see you. Give me a shout out who's here on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. So some really good questions today that we're going to answer. Thank you guys for submitting them. How to get a good night's sleep. I'm 74. I gained weight and now I'm losing weight that I need to lose for my health. She's diabetic, but my skin is crinkling, wrinkling, and looking like crepe paper. What can I do? That's a common thing. There was a really good question. Someone wants advice on weight gain, insomnia, and low energy. Somebody else said how to have a good night's sleep. But I love this question: how to stay healthy when the world is crazy and life is not normal. Who is wanting to know the answer to that? Hey, Shelly, how are you? And I'm straight from the gym, so I'm like, I just threw on a fatigue top and stuck my hair up, and so I don't think you guys really care what my hair looks like. You just want answers to your questions, so it's not about me, it's about you. So I think these are all really good questions, but I really love this question about how to stay healthy when the world is crazy and life is not normal. And as I shared with you yesterday, when we went on shutdown March 8th, I guess a year and a half ago, I was not the best example of that, right? I did what you should not do when you go on pandemic shutdown with your health. I stopped doing everything for my health. I totally went into fight, flight, fear, reaction. It's the end of the world. May as well eat whatever I want, not go to the gym because I was terrified. Until I really got an understanding of what the virus is and what was happening, I didn't know. So I really wrote the book on what not to do with your health during the pandemic. And that's why I shared with you yesterday. I ended up gaining 37 pounds, but no worries. I'll be weighing myself Tuesday. I'm already down 26. And by Tuesday, I should be down 30. And that's been 3 months. So 10 pounds a month is really what should happen with your weight, when you do all the things you're supposed to do. So I know how not to do it because I did that. And then I know how to do it. So how to stay healthy when the world is crazy and life is not normal. I think this is a great question, whoever submitted it. And again, it's an anonymous survey. You don't have to put any information on there to submit your question. So I love that. It gives people really the license to be free to ask what's really bothering them. And I think that who else has this question? Let me say, who else has this question? A lot of you guys do. I think that it's putting it in perspective. So number one is, what information are you believing about what's going on in the world that is making you believe it's so crazy? Is the first thing. So one of the things that I teach you about when you work with me, watch my podcast, all the things, is that your cortisol stress hormone is really one of the foundations of your health, your weight, your energy, your immune system function, everything. And the thoughts that you think affect your health through your stress hormone cortisol. So when I went into overdrive about this is horrible, end of the world, what happened to my cortisol? It got all jacked up, right? And this is going to happen to you too. So one of the things I had to do was watch the thoughts that I'm thinking and what I'm believing about what's happening. Because depending on what you focus on and pay attention to, that will expand and become your actual reality. So yes, you want to be informed and have factual information, but most of our media is not factual information. It is designed to startle you and frighten you because our brains are programmed to pay attention to that which is dangerous, We're biologically programmed that way because it conferred survivability on us, in the Stone Age. If there was a tiger lurking about, we needed to know about it so that we knew how to stay safe. But the truth is, we don't have tigers in this day and age. But the media exploits our biological preference for fear, and they know that the more afraid we are, the more we watch media, and the more we consume media, the higher their ratings, the more they can get for their ads. And it's basically it's a commodity. Media is a commodity. So no longer is it just the facts that you get, it's laden and it's delivered in a way that's going to target your and trigger your reptilian brain that goes into that fight, flight, freeze mode, that triggers your cortisol, that affects all of your hormones. So when the world is crazy is a subjective statement. There are some people who would say that the world isn't crazy. So you have to watch what you're consuming. And one of the things is, you might want to stop watching the news and paying attention to the media and get a credible source. I shared this when it comes to the virus. There's a really good YouTube channel called MedCram, MEDCRAM. It was started by a doctor. He actually started it before the shutdown to educate people about health topics from an objective perspective, because even in medicine, we have lack of objectivity, and we have a lot of people with beliefs about things in medicine, and they state these beliefs as if they were facts, but they're actually not. So he created MedCram to be a factual YouTube channel where he delivers factual information, shows studies. This is the study. This is what they did. This is the intervention. This was the outcome. And then when Corona hit, he decided to focus on Corona because that was novel. Most of us didn't know a lot about it. And so he started giving factual information. And to this date, he has remained true to his reporting factual nature on that channel. So I highly recommend it. So maybe you want to not watch the news and not get information that is biased towards making you afraid, so that you are then tuned into watching and consuming more media. And then whatever else you're considering crazy in this world, watch what you're paying attention to. What you focus on expands. And I would say that the large majority of people are living in a very normal world that isn't crazy. And it's all how you perceive it. So some places you have to wear a mask. Do you consider that crazy or not? That's a matter of opinion. Or now, is it just something that you do and you don't even think about it? And what emotional content do you place on that? Right? The fact is, at some places, at some times, you have to wear a mask. Are you in your head all the time about, I don't want to wear this mask, I shouldn't have to wear this mask, this is crazy? Or are you on the other side and just saying, well, it's what I have to do right now? So it's all about your perception. Do you perceive that the world is crazy or not? And how you perceive it will then affect your cortisol. So I'd say that's the first thing, whoever submitted this question, which I love. But then the other thing is, so your perception about, is the world crazy, and then and life is not normal. So what do you consider normal? What is your definition of normal? Right? I mean, in the majority of the world, the majority of the world doesn't live like we do in the US, where we have central AC and heat, we have dishwashers and microwaves, and we have basically all kinds of luxuries and things to make our lives better. The majority of people live on like $2 a day. So what are you considering not normal? And so again, it gets back to your perspective on what is normal and what is not. And you wanting life to be a way that it is. So it's all about your perception is the bottom line. I'm not here to talk. I am not a coronavirus expert. I'm not here to talk about the vaccine, masks, none of that. But what I am here to talk to you about is your hormonal health, because that's what I do. And if you're trying to stay healthy and you're freaking yourself out like I did at the beginning, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. It's horrible. All these things we have to do. This is not normal. This is crazy, right? When you say those things, you're triggering your reptilian brain and your cortisol, and you are jacking up your hormones and unbalancing all of your hormones, which means you might have problems with insomnia. You might have problems with fatigue. You might have problems with weight gain, particularly around the midsection. You're going to have worse problems with your immune system function. So you got to watch what you're believing and what you are thinking. And then really focusing on what can I control, what can't I control. And what I can control is, once I finally got myself together, is I control what I choose to eat. I control what I choose to consume in terms of media, in terms of what I eat. I get to control what activities I do every day. So everything that I have under my control, I can control, and I let go of things that I have no control over. You want me to wear a mask? You want me to wear a mask, And again, I'm not here to argue or legislate, that's not what I'm here for. But if I have no control and I want to go into the public supermarket to get groceries and they say mask required, then I have to wear it. But what's the dialogue going on in my head about that? Oh, I'm so mad. I shouldn't have to wear this. Then I'm jacking up my cortisol. I'm unbalancing all my hormones. I'm making my immune system not function optimally, and I'm making myself unhealthy. So I've got to not only watch my diet of what I eat and consume in my mouth in terms of nutrition, but I've got to watch the diet of what information I take in and what I believe and what argument I have in my head. So I think that's a great question. Really paying attention to what you're dieting on and consuming, and what you're believing and what you're focusing on. So thank you for that question. All right. Let's see. All right, we've got another question. Health begins with healthy cells. How to get healthy cells and maintain healthy cells? Yes. So your body is made up of trillions of cells. So each cell in your body is like its own little city. And your body itself is like a city with different neighborhoods. I always say that the body is kind of like the city of Manhattan, where I grew up, because it's shaped like Manhattan, kind of like a person with the head at the top, which was Riverdale. And then it gets wider in the middle where the body is and the arms, and then the smaller at the bottom with Battery Park at the feet. So your body is a city with different neighborhoods. It's got the liver neighborhood. It's got the heart neighborhood. It has the digestive tract neighborhood. It has the brain neighborhood, right? You get the point. And just like in cities, certain cells will group together. So the brain cells clump together. And your health overall will only ever be as good as the health of the city of any of your cells. So there's a saying is, as in the microcosm is in the macrocosm, as in the small is in the big, and that each one of your cells is really a mirror reflecting your overall health. Your overall health will only ever be as good as the health of your cells. So, but anything that you do to the macrocosm, anything you eat affects the health of your cells. When you exercise, you affect the health of all of your cells. So it's kind of, I like this question because how do you get healthy cells and maintain healthy cells? I like your understanding that it's about the cells. But it's not like you can affect one cell at a time. Something you do to your body, you take supplements, you exercise, you eat, works on all of your cells at the same time. So this concept that I'm going to do something just to affect this one cell is kind of not the best concept, although you might say, I want to do something to improve my liver neighborhood cell function. And there are certain supplements that will, like milk thistle is great for the liver. So you might focus on certain neighborhoods, just like if a city's doing a revamp project in their city. Like I remember when I went to college. I left Manhattan. I went to college in Pennsylvania, and I came back, and I hadn't been down to the Times Square area, I think, for a few years. I had to go to a conference there, and I was amazed at how they cleaned it up, because when I was growing up in New York, Times Square area was horrible. I mean, it was like triple X rated movies everywhere and trash everywhere. And it was just not a place you wanted to go. And then I went back a few years later, and I was amazed at how they had cleaned it up and gotten rid of all the porn places. And it was just amazing. So they made a conscious effort to revamp that neighborhood. So you might make the same conscious effort. I'm particularly going to work on, like, say you have heart disease, you might choose to do like chelation to get rid of the heavy metals in your coronary arteries and do targeted heart work on that neighborhood. So you can do targeted work on your cells. Most of the actions that we take work on all of our cells equally, but there are certain supplements or foods targeted that have nutrients that may help certain areas. So whoever submitted this question, I want you to start thinking about your health as, yes, you're trillions of cells, and some of these are specialized, but start thinking about, oh, there's most of the things I do are for all of my cells. Like if I eat bone broth, that's for all my cells, really, but it's particularly going to help the cells in my gastrointestinal tract, right? So that's how you do it, is you become really familiar with what's important for all of my cells. So all of your cells, being a city in themselves, have to have an energy factory, and their energy factories are called mitochondria. So I've got to feed the mitochondria in all my cells, because think about it, right? What powers us in a city where you live, right? Food is fuel. Choose premium. Absolutely, Natalie. But electricity is what you need to run power in your house, like running my iPad, running my computer so I can be talking to you now, running your electronics. You've got to have electricity. So that comes from some power plant, whether they make electricity from fossil fuels or they make electricity from wind or solar or however they make it. I'm not an electrical engineer. But that's got to get delivered to your house. You don't have electricity, you can't power up the things you need to do in your life. Well, your body has mitochondria. Those are our little power factories, and our cells, all our cells have them. So our mitochondria have to have the nutrients in order to make ATP, which is the currency of energy in your cells. You guys remember back to high school biology, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's like $1 bill that you would make at your job that you can spend to buy something. Or it's a unit of energy that comes from the power plant so that you can spend it to turn your computer or your phone on. Your body has ATP. It makes it in mitochondria. So you've got to always be thinking about, how do I fuel those mitochondria? And I'm always talking about hormones. It's all about hormones. So at its foundation, hormones are these regulators that tell your mitochondria, what to do. So Cindy, I don't know can I take BP? I'm not sure what that is. Also currently doing bioidentical hormone therapy. Okay, cool, Robin. Yes. So the hormone prescription, I'm rebranding Her Brilliant Health Revolution podcast to the hormone prescription, because that's what I get more questions about than anything. And it is the thing that trips up women over 40. Once we hit 40, women are like, what happened? Whose body is this? I don't feel like myself. I don't feel normal anymore. It's all about hormones. So it's got to be. And so the hormone prescription isn't just about a prescription the doctor writes. Sure, bioidenticals is part of that, but it's the prescription of what you need to do to keep your hormones tuned up, because there's so much you need to do besides a written prescription. Um, and so that's what we're really focusing on now. All right. So, yeah. So Robin asked a question about here on Facebook about trying to heal thyroid naturally with no luck. And doctor gave her desiccated thyroid in the past. She's considering T4, T3. I need to do something, just don't want to be on meds for life. So your thyroid does not work in a vacuum. And there's a reason why, if you have low thyroid function, it's not just because all of a sudden you woke up and had low thyroid function. It doesn't just happen out of the blue, it happens out of the oblivious. And in mainstream medicine, we doctors are taught that disease just happens, right? We're taught that a lot of it's genetic and that these things just happen for kind of no reason. And that's what we've led you to believe. And I apologize that we have led you to believe that, because that's not true. All dysfunction and disease happens for a reason. Nothing goes awry in your body without a reason. The problem is that in mainstream medicine, we're not looking for those reasons. That's not what we're taught in med school. It's just not the curriculum. All we are taught is what is the diagnosis and what drug do I need to give you and what surgery do I need to do. And then we basically do the diagnosis. Oh, you have diabetes. You need this medication, and you're basically going to have it forever. And then we're going to monitor you for all the complications of diabetes. And that's kind of the end of the story. Same with thyroid. Oh, you have thyroid disease. But right. But in functional medicine, we look for the root cause. There's always a reason. So why do you have low thyroid is the problem, right? That no one's figured out. So people get worried, oh, if I go on thyroid replacement, I'm going to be stuck on it for the rest of my life, believing that it's the medication that's making your thyroid worse, so that you're going to be dependent on it and need it the rest of your life. But that's not true. The problem is that nobody took the time to figure out and tell you why you have the thyroid problem in the first place. That never got corrected. So, this analogy I like to use is, if you come home from work and there's water on the bathroom floor in a puddle, what are you going to do? Clean it up, right? Okay. You come home the next day, there's water on the bathroom floor in a puddle, and what are you going to do? You're going to clean it up, right? Okay. How many days are you going to come home and there's water on the bathroom floor and all you're going to do is clean it up? At what point is anyone here? I see Daryl in here, Steph, Sid, a little bit Harley, Laurie, Quantum Fit, Meredith, Robin, Shelly, a whole bunch of you here. Let me know at what point, after how many days, let me know the number after which you're going to do something besides clean up the water on the floor. Anybody? Is anyone going to see, is the sink leaking? Did the toilet overflow? Did the dog come in and pee? Is the roof leaking? Did someone leave the window open and it rained? Like, who's ever going to look for the cause of the water on the floor? Are y'all just going to keep coming home and cleaning up the water? I don't know. Right now, I'm thinking you guys are just going to keep coming home and cleaning up the water because nobody's saying anything. Right? Okay. Now, I know y'all are smart. At some point, you're going to look for the source of it. What caused the problem? Robin says maybe after a couple days, we'll try to find the problem. So those of you who are smart are going to eventually, at some point, try to find the cause of the problem. Low thyroid is the same thing. Every time you go to the doctor, oh, your thyroid's low, take this medication. Oh, your thyroid's low, take this medication. Oh, there's water on the floor, clean it up. Oh, there's water on the floor, clean it up. It's the same insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Just giving you thyroid medication, never looking for the reason why you have low thyroid, never looking for the reason why there's water on the bathroom floor, is insanity. And our medical system does the same insane stuff. It's not your fault because this is what we've taught you to do. And what I'm saying is you need to wake up and realize that there's a whole other standard of care where you actually look for the reason why you have medical problems. And if you have low thyroid, there's a reason why. Now, what could be some of the reasons? Well, maybe your brain isn't sending the right signal to your thyroid to tell it to function. You could have something neurologically going on with the main hormone that comes from your brain to your thyroid to tell it to make thyroid hormone. Or maybe you don't have the raw nutrients that your thyroid needs to make the thyroid hormone. You need certain amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. Maybe you're deficient in those. Maybe you make enough inactive thyroid hormone, but you don't convert it to the active form of thyroid hormone. So T4 is inactive. That's what your thyroid makes. It has to go to other organs in the body to be converted to T3, which is active thyroid hormone. But your mainstream doctor is not going to know that because mainstream medicine doesn't look at active thyroid hormone. Why? Because all they care about is what diagnosis do you have and what drug do I have to give you? So maybe you're a poor converter. Maybe the problem is that not only are you a poor converter, but maybe you're making a blocking form of thyroid hormone called reverse T3 that's sitting on your thyroid receptors on your cells that we were just talking about and preventing active T3 from sitting on it. So maybe you've got enough active thyroid hormone, but it can't stimulate the receptor because old reverse T3 is sitting back, lounging on these receptors. And I know this is a lot of technical information. And what I want you to get from what I'm saying is there's always a reason why. And if you don't know the reason and no one's talked to you about why you have the diagnosis you have, then you're dealing with pill for every ill medicine, surgery for every symptom. And what you're going to get with that is you are going to get stuck on a medication for the rest of your life. And nobody's ever going to talk to you about why you have the things you have. And so you want to dig deeper and find the root causes, and you want to have the right tests and find somebody who can help you understand why you have the low thyroid in the first place. Because if you correct the why, guess what? You actually can get off thyroid medication, but until you correct the why, you're probably not going to get off it. So I hope this is making sense. So he says, I'm taking blood pressure meds. Can I take a natural supplement at the same time? Yeah. And again, blood pressure is another one. I call American trilogy is hypertension, diabetes, and high cholesterol. That's the American trilogy that the majority, a lot of Americans who are on medications, 50% of us over 50 are on 5 or more medications. And a lot of people have that. You're welcome, Robin. Have that American trilogy, diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and are on medications for them. But again, the symptom is high blood pressure. You go to the doctor, they give you the diagnosis hypertension, which just means high blood pressure. That's a symptom. That's not a diagnosis. It doesn't answer the question, why do you have high blood pressure? And they just put you on high blood pressure medicine for the rest of your life and say you are a hypertensive. How many of you have been told you're a hypertensive and you just believe that for the rest of your life? And it came out of the blue. It didn't come out of the blue. It came out of the oblivious because nobody looked into why do you have high blood pressure? There's a reason why you have high blood pressure. And until you fix the reason why, you're going to have high blood pressure. And it's nonsense that because your parents had it, you're going to have that. That's only about 5 to 10% of the story. So majority of it is lifestyle and imbalances going on in your body. And so until you figure that out and you fix that, you are going to be a hypertensive. And so you've got to find the reason why. Okay, these are great questions. All right, let's see what other questions you guys have. Oh my, time flies when you are having fun. So I said I'd go live for 30 minutes, but these questions are so good. All right, let's see what this is. How to get a good night's sleep. Who wants to know how to get a good night's sleep? Darylyn, I don't know what you're saying. Yep, me too, but hi. All right, so this is such a good question. So we talked a little bit about this one of the days. Darylyn wants to weight and stress. Oh, girl, you need to come. I'm doing a free training on how women over 40, why weight and fatigue is such a problem for us and what to do about it on Thursday. You can sign up for free on my website, KieranDunstonMD.com. So definitely check that out. We'll be talking about, oh, hey, Dr. Renee. So we'll be talking about how enlightened women over 40 actually balance their hormones, lose weight, and get their energy back so they can feel amazing. We'll be teaching you about exactly what you need to do to get that done. So thanks for that question, Darylyn. So a good night's sleep is, and I'll be coming live every day answering these questions. Thank you for submitting them. They're amazing questions. And good night's sleep is such an important question because sleep is one of the main factors of things you need to have great health. But also when you don't have great health, your sleep is affected. So it becomes this, cat chasing its tail kind of situation. You have bad sleep, it creates bad health. You have bad health, it creates bad sleep. So you've got to sleep to have great health, and vice versa. So it's kind of like that cat chasing its tail. So sleep is very multifactorial. And you know me, I'm always about hormones. So you've got to have that hormone balance at the foundation to have great sleep. And there's 7 main metabolic hormones. I'm going to teach you guys about this on Thursday. And so the secrets I'm going to give you on Thursday relate not only to weight and energy, but also sleep, because sleep is related to fatigue too. So we're going to talk about the 7 main metabolic hormones, but you've got to have hormonal balance, right? So it's not only, it's about the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, but your other main metabolic hormones. It's also about toxicity, because if your body does a lot of detox at night, and so if you have too much, this Instagram iPad just conked out, so I'm not sure what happened. It just went off. But if you have a lot of toxicity, then you can have problems sleeping because your your body's overloaded at night. So you need to detox your body as well. So the first thing is that you need to get your hormones balanced. I'd say, let me tell you the biggest thing I would do to get a good night's sleep. I went through different periods in my health where I went through periods where I couldn't sleep at all. I had horrible insomnia. And then I went through periods where once I got past that, and then I had chronic fatigue and I was tired and I slept all the time. And maybe, I don't know what phase you're in, but if I were having a short-term problem with sleep, the thing is you've got to sleep. So the prescription medications that we doctors give you, Ambien, Lunesta, things like that, so-called soporific medications, are only approved for short-term use, less than 6 weeks. So you definitely don't want to take them longer than that. But simple things you can take over the counter, like Benadryl, are less harmful. They don't cause tolerance and addiction and disrupt your sleep cycle as much as some of the prescription medications. That's even better. But melatonin and theanine are some other things that you can take short term. Again, you don't want to take these long term. And really, I'm a proponent of test, not Yes. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about on the class we're going to do Thursday is you got to know what's going on with your hormone levels, your main metabolic hormones, because your metabolic hormones not only set up your metabolism of how you burn calories for fuel to make energy so you can burn fat and make energy, right? So lose weight and have good energy. But they're your overall metabolic regulators that help you go to sleep and wake up and pay attention and remember stuff. So, metabolism is not only about your weight and your energy, but it's about all the things that your body needs to do to be optimally healthy and vital and alive. So, thank you guys for joining me. Yeah, Robin, it's okay to be 60, 61 next month. When we know better, we do better, Oprah says. I don't know if you can see my picture with Oprah over here. I love me some Oprah. When you know better, you do better. That's all we can do. When we get the information, it is not too late. I don't care what age anybody here is. You can pick up these tools and start using them and walk towards your best health. So I'm glad you're here. Yes, never too late. And lichen sclerosis, yep, I know all about that, Melody. But she probably wants to find a gynecologist. I do everything virtually, and I help women over 40 to lose weight, regain energy, sleep well, balance their hormones and their moods, look and feel amazing, regain their sex drive. So this can be the best time of their life. So it should be under the work with me section. I'll have the team check it, but we'll get the link on this page too. So if it's not there, check back shortly. Apologize for that. We'll get you the link. So thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I am going live at, let me tell you the time. Some days I couldn't do 12:30 because I have meeting scheduled. So 5 p.m. actually tomorrow because I have a meeting scheduled. So 5 p.m. Eastern. So thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. And I'll make sure I have that link. Talk to you later.